Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between mouzHasu and GoOdy here on Steps of War. GoOdy spawning on the south side as the purple Terran player, meanwhile mouzHasu spawning on the north side as the yellow Protoss player. This is game 2 in a best of 3 matchup. Not going to tell you the results of game 1. You're going to have to go ahead and check out the previous video. I think it was 234. But yeah, check out 234. It was on Xel'Naga Caverns. A really interesting game. Now back over here, mouzHasu most likely going to be throwing down another 9 pylon. Meanwhile, we're going to have GoOdy most likely throw down a 10 supply depot right there, followed with a barracks and then a tech lab. We'll see if the same strategy does work on this map, or probably not, as we already have an early probe now moving out to begin some scouting. So early probe already moving out, perhaps going to try to do some harassment. And now we also see GoOdy making sure that there is no some sort of proxy pylon, proxy gateway being laid down. But in comes this probe, and this probe may be able to get some harassment onto this SCV. And yeah, no, not going after that SCV. SCV hitting it in that back corner, and now the SCV finally taking some damage. But another SCV coming over. No, now finally coming over, and now mouzHasu's probe will not be able to fight back. Now taking 5 damage, pulling away, actually taking some damage on his own hit points, and now pulling back as now GoOdy brings in a fresh SCV. So how much damage will this little probe be able to deal? And now this probe just maneuvering inside this base, back up to full hit points or full shields, now fighting back against this SCV, now going to pull away as a new fresh SCV coming in. So very, very nice micro coming in from GoOdy and mouzHasu. Barracks nearing completion as we have an assimilator and a gateway being placed down over here. So very similar build orders coming in from both sides as this refinery has been completed. SCV once again fighting this probe, already down to 15 shield, and now being pulled back. This marine should be able to pop out in just a moment. Will it be enough? No, that probe will be able to escape just in time as this SCV now going to go ahead and head up this ramp. Second pylon now already down. I really like the placement on Hasu's pylons. They are far enough apart so that it's very difficult to try to like just chain destroy these pylons, but still strong enough that really that it will place another gateway here and perhaps here, and you cannot easily unpower all of these buildings. Back over here, we now have a marine now running back up this ramp, and we see the second refinery down. So it looks like it's going to be a factory opening. So it's going to be a 1 barracks into a factory play. We have a probe activating this Xel'Naga watchtower over here, and now we have the cybernetics core now training up a sentry. So the sentry being the first unit as opposed to the typical Reaper. So I'm not 100% sure why he went sentry first. My guesses would be he want that sentry first because it is an energy-based unit. As soon as you get that first sentry out, that sentry starts recharging energy much more quickly. And now also training up a zealot. Not quite sure. Oh, there we go. Now in comes that warp gate research and another supply depot being placed here. This is a curious position just because normally I see the tech lab being thrown down there. So not quite sure why there was a supply depot, and now a bunker going to be placed over here instead. So we're going to have an early bunker as we have now as we're going into a starport building. And now why is this factory taking off and then repositioning to build a tech lab there? That doesn't really make that much sense unless well, I guess it does, because the tech lab will be able to finish, and then you want a shorter flying distance between the starport and that factory. Back over here, we see a gateway and now another pylon being brought into play. And mouzHasu going into a 3 gateway build, may try to go for some sort of 4 gate with a proxy pylon somewhere. I can see some sort of proxy pylon perhaps being positioned here, so you can warp in units here, or positioned here to warp in units into this position right here and try to cause some pressure. Back over here, we now see 1 sentry will be able to throw down some force fields and guard this ramp if need be. And now a second sentry as well. 3 sentries. So this is going to be a sentry zealot push. Okay, I really like this balance of play just because this is an 8 food army off of 250 minerals and 300 gas. Yeah, this is a very, very interesting build just because it doesn't look like that big of an army compared to the army that currently GoOdy has with 4 marines, but now we have banshees coming in from GoOdy. So GoOdy with those banshees may be able to deal significant damage as we are now going into a nexus already. So we have 3 zealots, 4 sentries, and those sentries with that force field will not be able to deal that much damage. Those guardian shields will come in handy as they will reduce the amount of damage that those banshees are able to deal by 4 per round of attack. You got to remember that banshees have a double attack, so that double attack means that and the Guardian Shields adds 2 armor to each attack. So each attack meaning, instead of that attack being 12 damage, it is now 10. So down from 24 damage per round of attack down to 10. And now in comes this Zealot. Zealot, however, realized that he cannot push through here and will not be able to easily get up that ramp. Do we have any hallucination being researched? No hallucination being researched. And we have a Stalker coming back. Luckily, this probe able to catch this early Banshee, and the army now trying to retreat. Sentries have a very slow movement speed along with those Zealots when they do not have that charge upgrade. So now this Banshee coming over here. You got to remember, Banshees are also not quick cloak, and that's a very, very bad sign as well. Trying to get that observer, gonna chrono boost that observer taking 40 units at a time. Banshee gonna come in. Will it be able to deal enough damage? Is gonna throw down a Guardian Shield, not quite sure. As these probes move back over here, this Banshee down to 33 energy, and will it come back in and get some quick probe kills? 1 round of attack, there goes 1 probe, another probe getting taken down. And will it be enough? No, that Banshee now being forced to pull back as a second Banshee is going to go ahead and join this party, but I don't think there's going to be enough energy. And with that observer now out, that observer will be able to keep sight, and those Banshees did not deal the amount of damage that GoOdy was really expecting and hoping them to deal with. Back over here, we should probably see another observer being trained as... Yeah, another observer would probably be a strong opening at this stage in the game, just because the number of Banshees and just the number of Banshees, you really want to make sure that you have the observer there to really guard against it. We have 3 Stalkers, and we also have a couple Sentries in position. Hellions and Banshees moving out with SCVs. SCVs perhaps going to try to repair some of these units, but Stalkers, in comes 1 Siege Tank. Siege Tech now being researched, and it will take how much longer? Now completed. So Siege Tech is now completed. We'll be able to perhaps try to siege right here, and then gonna throw down a bunker instead. So now already throwing down bunkers. Hasu does not see this. Now Hasu sees this, and will it be enough? Siege Tank sieging up. Is it gonna be able to get enough quick shots off as this SCV over here? Nice Guardian Shield taking a lot of that damage. Marines not able to do too much damage through that Guardian Shield, reducing their damage from 6 to 4. And now Banshees now coming in. Hellions also coming as well. Nice force fields. Marines unable to get up that ramp. Zealots now charging. Zealots now able to just continue to focus off the rest of these Marines. Does not want to get within range over here. That 1 observer there, and down goes that last Marine. No, Marine now down and just fighting back and forth. Hasu doing a great job holding off this attack. There is 1 bunker here. So that 1 bunker with a siege tank may be able to get a lot of damage done. There is now this 1 observer right there. Is it going to be enough? Stalkers now getting in position, trying to take down that last siege tank. Down to 17. There it goes. Very, very nice. That range of 6, and now being forced to pull back. No SCVs to repair this bunker though, as those Marines able to focus up that ramp. Bunker gonna get taken down. So many SCVs down over here not repairing that bunker. That was just a really, really bad misplay by GoOdy. GoOdy now not able to capitalize on this early attack. Banshee is moving back. Stalkers pressing on in, and Hasu really, really doing a great job with these Stalkers. GoOdy needs to get some Marauders to try to counter the number of Stalkers that they have. The Banshees have been revealed by that observer. Otherwise, those Banshees would be a strong counter towards those Stalkers. Banshees are only light units. They are not armored units, so they do not take additional damage from that Stalker, like I mentioned earlier. So it is actually easier for a Stalker to shoot down a Viking than it is to shoot down a Banshee. Back over here, 1 Marine quickly getting taken down. Siege tanks now pressing up, and there's also Banshee sitting here. These Marines, if they get underneath that observer and shoot it out of the sky, these Banshees will be able to capitalize and be able to defend this expansion very easily. No, that's the second observer. So yeah, there's 2 observers for Hasu. Hasu has 1 observer following his army, and another observer now roaming around on the inside of his base. Medevac now being trained, so that Medevac will be able to start healing up the rest of these Marines, but still no Marauders. So GoOdy going into a Marine siege tank Banshee army, now finally throwing down a missile turret. That missile turret may be able to get just within sight range of that observer, but that observer cannot stick around too close to that missile turret, otherwise it will get shot down. SCV is now beginning to repair over here. As we look at the harvester count, 44 harvesters for Hasu versus GoOdy 30. GoOdy, however, does have mules, so those mules will help him try to mine up a little bit further. Also, he is not currently mining off of these 2 refineries, so he is able to get a stronger economy going. Back over here, observers now throughout the map taking a look. 2 observers, 1 patrolling here, 1 patrolling I believe over here, making sure there isn't some sort of drop play as these Banshees are completely repaired and may be able to do more harassment. So Banshees once again on the move. Will this observer catch sight of them? Yes, barely catching sight of them. Actually, I don't know. Hasu had to be really observant in order to try to catch that. There is one photon cannon there, and perhaps, yeah, one photon cannon here as well. But this one pylon is a little bit too far. So if he unpowers this pylon over here, this cannon will not be able to fire back. Back over here, we do have another observer sitting into that position just when it's in sight range of this missile turret, but not within firing range. Back over here now, we once again see this army of Banshees moving out, and he does not know about this photon cannon here. It will quickly be revealed. And now in comes the Stalkers now moving back in order to try to deal with this one photon cannon. Now trying to take down this pylon. Pylon very, very low on hit points. Yeah, with that whole entire pylon range issue, the photon cannon is currently unpowered, so cannot see those Banshees. And now going to go ahead and finish off this, perhaps this one photon cannon here. No, not going to finish it off as there is one observer. And that photon cannon, I believe its shields cannot recharge while, shields can recharge even though they're unpowered. Okay, so did not know that. Back over here, we do have these Banshees continuing to move out. Perhaps going to do a little bit of pressure over here. More pylons being thrown down. A lot of production on both sides as we see Void Rays now being trained up. So Void Rays being trained up may be able to get off a lot of damage as well. We're going to take down another pylon. So this pylon once again going to be unpowered, and Stalkers in the wrong position. Going to try to do a little bit of pressuring over here. There are those Void Rays. Void Rays will be able to start damaging these Banshees in just a moment, as those Void Rays are also getting the movement speed upgrade. There is one observer there, and as soon as we get the movement speed upgrade for these Void Rays also have the level 1 weapon attack upgrade. But you got to remember, GoOdy is not relying too much on Marauders. Has a good amount of Marines. If you take a look at his army combination, actually 6 Marines, not that great, but he can still train up more Marines out of this barracks over here as these Banshees now going to perhaps decloak and have SCVs once again begin to repair. Void Rays now trying to do a little bit more pressure. Movement speed on those Void Rays now up to 3.38. So will it be able to work, as we're going to get a little bit of attack here? Void Rays now charging up against this one supply depot, and now going to get now it's going to charge up. There we go. Now charging up against another supply depot here, and now really able to mass up that damage. Void Rays now pushing in very, very easily. Siege tanks, however, getting a couple quick blasts and fighting back and forth. Void Ray really wants to go after some of those Vikings. The movement speed of those Vikings a little bit slower than those Void Rays. Void Rays trying to get within firing range, unable to. Very, very nice an air micro battle here between these two sides. Now those Void Rays once again pulling back, realizing that they cannot engage all that well, and we do have Stalker Blink now being researched. Blink with getting within that 0 range is going to be absolutely important against those siege tanks. Over here, I do not think Stalkers can actually blink this chasm. Will they be able to? No, now charging up against an Immortal, not going to work there, as they're now going after some of those SCVs. Vikings deciding to do a little bit of pressure there. So Vikings with that very, very long range of 9, able to put pressure on these Void Rays, and Void Rays are going to be forced to retreat. We do have one pylon sitting here, and now we have SCVs just coming in and scouting, and Hasu going to have a very, very strong economic game, as Hasu now going into 3 bases, sitting on 53 harvesters compared to 48. Also has a much stronger economy going, getting the Templar Archives, Blink, and more photon cannons, and 2 additional gateways. Banshees, however, once again running head on, trying to deal damage here. There is one photon cannon in this position, and that now more photon cannons gonna be warped in here as those Void Rays pressing through these Banshees. We've got to remember they are still light, so they're not going to take that much damage. We need to see some Phoenixes, just 1 or 2 patrolling into this position will be fairly difficult. However, GoOdy now moving out with these Hellions. Hellions do not have the Infernal Pre-Igniter upgrade. Quickly take down one pylon. Stalkers Stalkers already are in position and warping in, so these 3 Hellions will not have a very good day. Also, a couple cannons in the back of that base. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between mouzHasu and GoOdy here on Steps of War.